Here for the fourth place match. To remind you all once again, to avoid any confusion, the finals will come up right after this, with Parting versus Gumiho in a best of 7. But this match has $500 for first place, between these two players I guess, it's actually technically third place, and of course $300 for fourth place. Spawning here though in the top right corner of the map, it's going to be the blue Zerg player, Losira.
In upper left as the red Zerg, Solar.
Repping that Samsung Galaxy. Now I'm really glad this did actually go to the ace match. Solar is a fantastic player and all that. Him being up 1-0 in the series was cool, but Losira is equally, if not better, as good at ZVZ, I suppose. So I would have been really astonished if this had been a 2-0. So let's go to game 3. I mean, again, speaking of that last game, like, it was a really good show of just how well of an understanding both of these players have in this matchup, the necessity of knowing, knowledge, the overlord spread, like whatever you want to call it. Like, they knew exactly what to do, how to react, and where to fight, and there wasn't a lot of awkwardness in that game.
No. I would really like someone to go for, like, you know, an attack in the early game, though. So far, these have been rather peaceful. I mean, there's been, like, Ling attacks, you know, like, it killed the third and whatnot, but, no Ling Baneling wars in this match, especially since Losira is not getting his own gas. Womp womp.
I think that's the problem, though. Zerglings, you look at the way the game goes, Zerglings and Banelings are, well, granted, very skill-based because you have to control them so well. There's still a bit of a gamble. Like, does that Baneling get the sickest hit in the world, or does it flop on one Zergling? 1 second of miscontrol can cost you everything, or 1 second of your opponent not looking can cost them a drone line. I mean, it's a lot more risky than playing roaches, and I think for both these players it makes sense that they would go for roaches, you know, destiny in their own hands and all that.
Jadon would go for it.
Okay, Zombie.
That's when you say, and what has Jadon won recently? And then I cry.
No, I was just gonna thank you for contributing. That was oh man, Jadon I want to see more of for sure. The thing is, like, I don't think I'm on the same hype train as everybody for him. Everyone's like, oh, we gotta see him win, he's gotta stop coming second place. I just, like, thoroughly actually enjoy watching him play. He makes good decisions and he's fun to watch. It is sad though that we don't see him win anything.
He's aggressive. People like action. That's why action moves are so popular, Rifkin.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Yeah, that type of deal.
Alright, nice scout deny there, so Losira doesn't quite get to the main, doesn't know if Solar took gases or not. A little bit worrisome to see 4 lings. Normally you only see 2 and strictly 2, but Solar's not going for just 4 lings. There is going to be 10, and you're going to get your wish.
Losira, I was more interested in Losira getting a Baneling as about having speed.
Well, that's, I guess you're not really going to have Banelings for speed anyways, but yeah, the Zerglings will never be able to contend on even footing, not without speed, but speed finishing for Solar as it starts for Losira. He also doesn't get to scout much, but he sees the Spine Car come down in the natural. Like, he knows Losira's a little bit paranoid of what's going on. Again, like, when you see 4 lings early, it's not the, oh my god, he's going for a Zergling alt, he made 4 Zerglings, but it is like, why do you have more than 2? What are you up to? So, coming across the map now with a lot of speedlings, we'll see if you can take this. To be honest, if a couple of these Banelings do get picked off immediately, Solar's just got such an abundantly large force compared to that Losira.
Oh no. Oh
That's
no,
so
why
risky.
Would you do that?
He didn't.
Oh,
no!
he just uses the cocoon!
But it's not enough. It's not enough.
Do that.
Couple Banelings on the ramp. No, Solar's running right into those Banelings. He eats one big one to the face. Loses quite a few lings to start this off, but he's still got so many more behind this. Surrounds that queen. 27 lings to 6. Losira in a lot of trouble if he's not careful. There's not a lot of transfuses left, but he pulls the drones. He's got a couple Banelings. He's gonna hold on. Solar though, he's got to cause some more damage. She doesn't have enough drones behind this to warrant that attack.
Well, he doesn't have a Baneling of his own. I don't think he can win this one. I mean, Losira is now going to have his own speed, so Ling on Ling fight's going to be a lot easier, and yeah, Solar's going to go back to droning.
I think the biggest problem is Solar face planted in that ramp next to those queens.
I know.
Like 20 lings died there.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, lots of lings versus lots of lings. Problem is Solar can't really afford to lose his, whereas Losira can. Back at home, his own Baneling nest is starting up, but that's the thing, right? It's starting up. Speedling all-ins, they work in ZVZ, and I've actually seen them beat out Banelings, not too frequently, obviously, but a lot of it comes with that element of surprise, and it felt like that wasn't there. Losira was ready, he had queens on the ramp, he had those Banelings on the way. I mean, that Spinecrawler even, despite the fact that it went down, he was ready for something, anything. But Solar making more lings, he's not done with this yet. 16 more to be precise.
Losira is getting his own lair though, and I mean, I think he's not going to try and end it here with the counter attack. He's going to get a Roach Warren. He's getting +1 weapons. Of course, he's got to get a Roach Warren now. And the game does go on. I was a little afraid I had just jinxed someone by saying like they should go for it, and they go for it and they lose.
They should
and I was
go
like,
for some bailings because you know they're totally listening to the stream somehow through the future. There's a delay on the stream, guys, but like also that they would speak English well enough or understand what Zombie would casually throw out on the side, like oh, like J-Dong, like they're
Jinxes
J-Dong?
don't make any sense. They don't have to be heard to be a jinx, okay? God.
Okay, fair enough. Gonna try and trade out a couple of these lings for low amounts of banelings, or low amounts of zerglings for a couple of banelings. Not too bad of a choice. But now Solar does have his own banelings, waddling forward to the front lines.
Split?
Yeah, it's really awkward seeing that go off too. Yeah, 2 for 3, 1 for 1. Weird trades tend to go down with banelings a lot, but it doesn't really have enough to push up this, especially with the spine crawler that's gonna snipe off a couple of the banelings before they get any shots off at all.
I'm so surprised he's even trying. I am really. You know, spine crawler, a bunch of banelings up there, a bunch of banelings up there.
I think you could have done that with 1 zergling, not 5. Alright, 3 spine crawlers are down. For Solar to dedicate to this is gonna be quite difficult. I mean, he's forced out a lot of his opponent, but you know, he took a drone lead while this was going on. He's looking towards taking a 3rd. This force may be less about actually pushing in now and more about posturing, but with Roaches coming out, he can't really do that any longer.
Losira counterattacking. It's gonna be like the first game. It's probably gonna be a wash. It doesn't even have speed, so actually pushing out here is a little dangerous to begin with.
Yeah, his Roaches actually very well could get surrounded.
Yeah, for sure. Solar with the faster 3rd base. Probably looking to deny Losira's own 3rd, just maybe once, maybe twice. Losira has a Baneling nest, so that really shouldn't happen the same way that it usually does. You know, if you have your own Lings, your own Roaches, if they get this round, it still dies. But with Banelings, you know, that shouldn't die. It does. Okay.
Cancel that there, it almost gets the Baneling up there. If he, I mean, it's so weird, but like 1 Baneling's enough to zone out a lot of Solar Zerglings, but his own Baneling's in the middle of the map, kind of awkward, can't really do much, waddling back home. He's got his Roaches that began, like, let's not forget, he didn't just tunnel vision on this, so both players in pretty even Roach counts.
It's surprisingly even game. You know, there wasn't any explosions that ended the game for a person or even sent them back, you know, a huge amount. No one over-dedicated to a response or an attack, and it's just really similar. 44 drones, 45 drones, 19 lings, 15 lings, 20 roaches, 20 roaches. God.
I mean, okay, so Lucira's ahead on upgrades for the Roaches, but it's not by, like, it's not 2-2 versus 1-1 or anything like that. Like, it's just 2 versus 1. I think one of the big things, though, is those Banelings aren't exactly going to fall out of favor. He'll be able to use them later. Doesn't want to throw away too many Lings. Like, okay, that was awkward. They've got some possibility to go and, you know, be harassing units, sure, but I think turning these all into Banelings and just having that Roach Max once again might be his best bets.
Ooh, okay, that was a nice Baneling hit. I don't think else much to report. Losira has a, you know, a bigger lead in that upgrade, so we actually could hit this timing. Whereas in the past, it's always been like the difference between like 10 seconds, which is really hard to hit.
It's one level of upgrades versus Defender's Advantage versus what is a massive amount of
I don't think
Lings
it's going to be enough. Yeah, I don't think Losira should try. Yeah, he just runs away.
Yeah, takes some damage trying to retreat too. For Solar's sake though too, it's not exactly like he can push either. That's the frustrating thing about Roach versus Roach. It's so difficult to find an advantage, to find a spot where you get in there and you've got some sort of lead, whether it's through upgrades or army supply or whatever the case may be. Now Solar does come in here with more supply, and again, so much of this is Zerglings and Banelings, but it's only going to take 1 or 2 good connects from Lucira's own Banelings to level out that playing field.
They're both, you know, poking and prodding, but they both look just be willing to go into that max setting. And I gotta imagine that they're maybe one or even both are gonna go into speed for the Banelings and go into Roach Bane. It just seems like the natural way to go.
Was he attacking his own Ling there for a second? What's that about?
I don't know.
Alright, well the Creep Sphere coming down here is actually kind of nice for Losira. It'll allow him to basically walk from his natural to his 3rd a little bit quicker. Might not seem like a lot, but it can be a big deal when it comes to trying to get units just in time to deal with an attack. We saw that, of course, on Overgrowth game number 1. Solar just barely getting there in time, but both players go for Baneling speed, both players go for Banelings. This is going to be another big clash of the Banelings. And I'd say this is where that element of combination randomness but combination skill comes into effect here. Like, can you just A-move with a bunch of roaches and banelings? No, not at all. You're going to have a really bad time. They'll get stuck behind the roaches. You'll have just this horrible engagement, but if you can direct your banelings, if you can split them up into 2 different groups, the idea is like you're both going to have big concaves with roaches, but you want to just cause more damage to your opponent than he causes to you. That's the idea with the banelings. You can keep in mind, they don't do the bonus damage versus roaches, but 20 damage splashed on like 4 roaches, 5 roaches, that's still 100 damage right there, just to your opponent's overall army. So it's, again, so much is going to come down to how they connect, where they connect, and what they connect to.
Losira going for the oversupply again with a 9 sport colors on the way. There's the cancel. Not a 4th quite yet, but I expect it's going to be coming soon. Speed's about to finish for both players. Losira getting his own banelings. I think he sees the attack coming and knows that he needs to defend. I'd be really, you know, hard-pressed to find a, like, clear, like, okay, Solar has to hit here and he's going to win. Solar is spread out. He has a good option to do a concave.
Oh, the banelings going to cancel each other out. Big explosions go off on the south side. Solar's still going to try and take a fight here, but most of his banelings have been pretty much washed up at this point. Some more coming in here from Losira with 50 roaches over 31 Solars on the retreat. For having such a nice army supply there, he really didn't use those banelings efficiently.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you're an attacker sometimes. Sometimes it looks amazing and you're like, man, you're a genius. You found that hole. And sometimes it's just like, why did you attack? Did you really have to attack? Probably not. You're the one with the faster 4th. But now he's going to be down and upgrade about 10 seconds. Losira, he has the ball rolling, and he has banelings rolling, more importantly, where Solar has gotten, you know, rid of all of his.
So it does get a nice little sandwich here, but it's 43 roaches to 51. We'll see if this will be enough. Baneling's still popping off, getting a little bit of splash damage where and when he can. And Solar's just losing out supply so heavily here. Losira now with a roach count leading by 10 with an upgrade advantage 2-1 over Solar's 2-0. This is looking like it's not so good. Good game is called. Losira will take the series 2-1, and he will pocket $500